Coming here to Duquesne. Just first of all, what's your background in acrobatics and tumbling, and why did you want to be a part of this?
Sure. So I was a gymnast my whole life growing up. Um, my senior year, I had a career-ending injury, so it changed my path into college athletics. I hoped to be a college gymnast my whole life, and obviously that path got cut short. I was contacted by a collegiate coach that was starting an acrobatics and tumbling program very late in my senior year. They asked me to go out and do a official visit, tried out for the team, ended up landing a spot on the team, and was offered a scholarship as well. So that changed my whole trajectory of what I was hoping my 4 years in college would look like. And then after my 4 years, I found a huge passion for the sport because obviously it completely changed my life. So ended up in the coaching realm. I was an assistant coach at Limestone University for 1 year, stepped into the head coaching role right after, and was there for 4 years, really just building the program very similar to what we hope to be doing here soon. And loved it. I've loved coaching ever since, so that's why I kind of ended up here at Duquesne.
Nice. And how have you seen kind of like the excitement surrounding this? Do you have a lot of girls or players that are, excited for this to be here?
Definitely. I think that they can really relate to what even was happened in my life. It's changed their life already with another opportunity to compete at the collegiate level. So they're ecstatic, definitely a little nervous because they are primarily freshmen, but there's a lot of enjoyment in the sport and a lot of love and passion for the sport. So we're hoping that that comes out next Friday night at our competition against Gannon.
What are maybe some of the challenges that come with creating a whole new program like this? And who do you kind of lean on when you're presented with those?
Yeah, one, my assistant, she's been a part of my life for the past 7 years, I would say. We were actually teammates on the same program, and so she's been a huge asset for me and the team. And then mentors, we're a really close community, so all of my mentors I reach out to probably daily, just to make sure that I'm on the right page. So.
Now, for someone who maybe doesn't know a whole lot about like acrobatics and tumbling, how did you like first get into it, and have you seen the sport grow in recent years?
Yeah, so I mean, I jumped into it not knowing a lot about the sport. A lot of people don't really understand what's going on at this point, but it's evolved tremendously, and so each year it changes when new skills come in and new athletes are recruited. So yeah, it's evolved tremendously.
Wow. And like, because I personally really haven't heard a whole lot about it, and have you seen it just grow, I guess, in the last few years, and have you seen a lot of programs create new programs like they're doing here at Duquesne?
Definitely. I think in the past, I would say even 5 years, it's almost doubled in the amount of size where, we had about 20 programs when I started, and now there's upwards to 56 programs across the country. So yes.
Wow, that's awesome. And how have you seen, just like you mentioned the freshmen and how they're excited and a little nervous about it, what's maybe like the emotions surrounding them being kind of a part of history? I mean, you guys are starting like an inaugural program here. It's the first year ever. Like, have there been conversations about that? You guys are kind of a part of history here.
Definitely. They know they're a part of history. I think when you're young, you can't really understand and grasp the impact that you're making. One of the reasons I stick with it is by the time I was a senior, I was like, I fully understand what we're doing here as young women, creating a brand new sport and just pioneering something that's really never been done before. So I think that they understand it. They know every day they go out and practice, regardless of what practice it is, they're still making history every single day.
And what do the competitions look like? I mean, are you guys having to do a lot of travel, bringing teams in? How does that kind of look?
So we're staying primarily local. We have a lot of really high level competition that's right in this region, so we don't have to go super far. Some Division I schools that have just added new programs as well, so it's very exciting that we have like equally talented opponents. We are a multi-division sport right now just because we are very young, so we can compete against Division IIs and Division IIIs, but we'll stay pretty much local, and then we'll have dual meets, so we'll have one opponent that we'll host here on campus, and that will be Gannon, our first meet. And then sometimes you can have a tri-meet as well, so you might have two opponents for one of those meets.
Wow. And when is your guys' first meet?
Yeah, February 7th.
February, okay, so right around the corner.
Yes.
So what do practices look like for you guys, and how do you gear up for that?
We are ramping up right now. We're putting together our what we call full out team event, so all of the pieces coming together and making sure that they're consistent heading into meet season.
And how many girls are on the team total?
We have 33 right now.
33.
Yes.
Oh wow, that's
Yes.
bigger than I thought.
Yeah.
And so are there like different events that everybody does, or how does that work?
Yeah, so we have specialists. So some people come in and they might do one thing through the entire meet. Other people are more versatile athletes, so they may be in multiple rounds of play, what we call heats and events. And then some people, just depends on really their position on the mat. So we have back spots, top spaces, and tumblers. So tumblers obviously will be in the tumbling rounds, but they can also do other types of, like if they're a base as well, they could do different types of positions.
Interesting. Huh. Well, cool. Is there anything else you want to add just about creating this year and you being a part of history too?
It's incredible. I mean, looking back, I would not have anticipated that this is what my path was going to look like. I'm forever grateful for the sport, and that's again why I stay in it and coach. These girls have an amazing opportunity ahead of them, and regardless again of whether we win, lose, they are really paving the way for so many young women behind them. And again, I've had people before me that have set the path that's out there and laid the foundation for myself and my assistant, and obviously these young women, and they're about to do that for so many young women out there. So I'm really excited for them to have that opportunity.
Zach,
Well, obviously, a ranking is a ranking. It means what it means. Preseason 15th for a first year, that's a very important thing. But you're also starting out and you're focused on the season. How do you weigh that opportunity and that achievement, but also balance out the personal?
Yeah. Well, they've done a fantastic job preseason so far. But ultimately, it's an earning. They have to go out there and they have to earn it. They've been looked at by their peers that they see their potential and they have a lot of potential. But ultimately, the work starts now. So we're really hoping that we can at least capitalize on that, use it as a little bit of an advantage, of a momentum swing as we head into season. But again, ultimately, it's up to them. They have to put the work in, and we've got to earn that top 15.
In your experience in general, you have an idea of how a program starts, but there's ebbs and flows that go with that. How have you managed those ebbs and flows, and what have you learned about yourself through this process?
Well, we have a lot of depth in the roster right now. Starting a brand new program, a lot of times the roster is not the same size that we have right now. So we've had a lot of definitely some downs, and we've been able to replace and make sure that we're still progressing through season to make sure that they're consistent going into meet season. But ultimately, it's been a learning curve just being a part of a first year program. Again, I left my last program. It was successful. It was on year 5. And so heading out of that establishment, going into another young team, there's definitely been a little bit of a growth and learning curve for myself, but just enjoying the journey. I mean, it goes so quick. They're only going to be year 1 for so much longer. So honestly, just loving on them and enjoying the journey and supporting them as much as possible so that they, in turn, hopefully, leading by example, they support each other and love on each other too.
All these young ladies have different backgrounds that brought them here. What was it like finding these ladies either with a specific discipline meet in mind or just having that adaptability present?
Yeah, well, we tried really hard to reach out to every discipline so that we had a well-rounded roster. So if you look on our roster, you'll see artistic gymnastics, acrobatic gymnastics, power tumbling, and then competitive cheerleading as well. So blending all of those disciplines together, it's going to be a really cool mix of athletes that we have, and also that foundation right now, building and filling in as we go through the next 4 years. When we find that establishment in the program, I think it's going to be really cool.
This first meet's a very special one for you, obviously. It's a first, and when firsts are always important, but also the opponent is an opponent that means a lot to you personally. What's that moment like for you to have that name synonymous with you once again on a very big stage?
I think it's exactly what we're doing. I mean, we're literally making history every single day and being a part of that program very early on. I was a part of the second program there, and so watching it progress to what it is right now, I mean, they've been top 2 in the country for 2 years, not back to back. I think there was a gap year in there, but they're a really incredible program, and so to have a competitor like that just start off our season is incredible. But again, to see the growth of just their program in the past few years, knowing that that's what we're doing and hoping to accomplish here in the near future, I think that's what makes it special.
You said earlier that this starting is really a big ramp up in advance. Just what are practices like going in, making sure they're fresh, making sure they're mentally engaged leading into this build-up?
Yeah, intense, but also calm at the same time. We're breaking things down and making sure that they're cleaning on the right counts. They're marking all of the skills the way that they're supposed to, but also putting all the skills together at the same time. So you might come into a practice and it's very calm, cool, collected, and then another one, it's loud and rambunctious and everybody's trying to put their energy out there getting ready for mid-season.
What's been the most rewarding thing so far?
The growth. I think the growth, and I was a assistant coach at my last program that was a startup team. This one, there was a lot, being the head coach, there's a lot of vision and faith that goes into that you're like, I think it's going to be this, and you see one thing, and then all of a sudden, all of that coming together and watching the puzzle actually become what was envisioned. There's nothing like that. So I think that's been the most rewarding, and then just seeing the growth of each individual athlete, especially as freshmen just going into their second semester, is just incredible. So I can't wait to see them when they're seniors.
When things maybe do get tough, what's that counter that you guys find just to keep spirits high and to make sure you move on to that next?
That we're young, and it's okay to make mistakes. Nobody's perfect, and we talk a lot about their identity, that it's not just in the sport, that they're human, student, athlete, that their families come first, that there's just a lot that goes into being a student athlete, and it can be very stressful at times, and there's going to be a lot of stress going into this meet, but ultimately knowing that it's okay to make mistakes, you can get back up the next day, and we're not going to be upset with them at all, and they might be upset with themselves, but knowing that they have a support system here, I think, is the most important.
How important has the support with campus been? Obviously there's a push to get as many teams and energy into this building as possible. Just what's it been like seeing that love through this last 2 years here?
Incredible. The investment is unmatched. I think I had an amazing team and program and university prior, but just being so early on and really everybody learning and starting to get educated about the sport, nobody is really fully sure of what the sport is until you come watch a meet. And so I think everybody's really invested in coming to this first meet to make sure that we do feel that love and support. But administration, you name it, everybody here on campus has been incredible for us. So it just helps us feel that confidence moving forward too.
What are you most looking forward to at this competition and for the rest of the season?
Just building a foundation. I think that's it. Is just seeing where our starting point is. We may be ranked top 15 right now preseason poll, but ultimately actually putting that on the map, putting them on the map. So I think it's just seeing where we're starting from and then getting a chance to build off of that and continue to brick by brick just lay layers down to make sure that they're prepared.
And how has recovery been for the girls physically? Because this can be really tolling on them. So how are you preparing them for the rest of the season and all of these practices?
Really just, it is a process, trying not to throw everything all at them at once. And we have an amazing athletic training staff here. I think everybody on staff has been incredible. So everyone just allowing them to also have days off. And not always be 100% all of the time. It's okay to have a rough day as long as we're able to do our recovery and come back from the things that are ailing them.
Good.